Hi folks, welcome back to The Addicted Bookworm. It is still Thursday. I can't believe I have to think, what day is it? I Yeah, it's been a long day. I got home about like 5:20, and I ate something, went to bed, back to bed because I was absolutely exhausted. It's really weird. I worked a 3.5 hour, a little bit over 3.5 hour shift, and I was tired, and I know why. Because I had to stay up till nearly like almost 4 in the morning because my brother wanted to make food, and I'm like, I'm out of it right now. Alrighty, so yeah, so I finished chapter 15 through 20 of Pride and Prejudice. I actually read it um, on my Nook, with the stunning, beautiful cover that I just happened to really gravitate towards. I will say my only problem with this particular version of Pride and Prejudice is that the beginning, I think, like, it's on every single chapter that you have um, this certain section, kind of like, um, how do you pronounce it? But if you look at the um, physical version of it, it's not there. I also want to say that I am a couple of chapters away from finishing volume 1 of this book, so I'm very happy about that. I'm just taking my time with it. I will say that's one of the great things about, when you own the book, you can take your time with it, which is always great for everyone. So anyways, we have conversations about Mr. Darcy, and then we have the attempting union of Mr. Collins, who is a minister, with Elizabeth Bennet, who is one of Mr. Bennet's daughters, and basically how bad that goes. How bad that goes. And Mrs. Bennet is absolutely just angry at Elizabeth because Elizabeth decided that she didn't want to marry Mr. Collins. And I don't even know how old Mr. Collins is. I guess I'm looking at it from like a modern day lens, like how old is this guy and how old is Elizabeth. However, I do know that unions like this, before you had like the age of consent or the age where a girl could get married, you know, was a thing. So Mr. Bennet, I feel so bad for this man, cause literally, he's like, huh? Just he's like he's like, oh no, and she's trying to bully him into making Elizabeth marry Mr. Collins, and Mr. Bennet is very determined to do things his way and not the way that his wife wants him to do it. I really like Mr. Bennet. Mr. Bennet is a very headstrong man, and he just like, even though I want to stay out of this, I gotta put my little foot down, and I gotta do my thing. But he's like, well, if you don't marry Mr. Collins, your mother will never see you. If you marry Mr. Collins, I will never see you. Please save me. Poor Mr. Bennet. I feel bad for him. He wants to see his daughter, but he won't if she marries Mr. Collins. Anyways, I got a kick out of the chapters, and it's a wonderful kind of statement that he makes about what happens if she marries him compared to if she does not marry him. And Mrs. Bennet is like, Mrs. Bennet is she's like getting really like visibly outraged, and she's kind of like trying to be like poised about it, but it's not working. Um, but yeah, it was hilarious. I was laughing my butt off so bad. I had like tears going down my face. It was hilarious. Alrighty. So speaking of my Nook, my beautiful, wonderful device, um, I finished Premedicated Murder. Um, see if I can get the by Erica J. Wilton. So Premedicated Murder is the first book in the Medium Detective. I believe it's the Medium Detective series, and it's about this medium who, when she was a little girl, she could see dead people, and as she got older, so I don't know what exactly happened to cause her to be unable to see them, but she's been trying for years to reclaim her gift again. And what happens is during the showing, so she's very much a public medium. She is known as the medium with a heart. However, there's people out there that believe that she is a fraud, and she does the things that people that are not mediums do. Like, she has a crew that, looks up, information about the people that are coming in, so that she can fool them into believing that she's actually talking to their dead loved ones. And then one night, she sees this man hanging out outside of her dressing room, and it turns out that he actually is dead. And I believe his name is, oh shoot, I forgot what his name was. I hate that when I forget what a person's name is. So he used to be, when he was alive, his grandmother came down with Alzheimer's. And so, because he loved his grandmother so much, he decided that he was going to try to find a cure for Alzheimer's. And he developed a drug that at first worked. I mean, he got his grandmother back. Unfortunately, it caused her death. And so, what ended up happening was, because of what happened, and everything, it drove him to work on a better drug. And him and his team did extensive amounts of research as to why the drug did not work. Also, he did something a little illegal. You're not allowed to try drugs on human beings before they've been cleared by the FDA. He did that because he loved his grandmother so much. And I really felt bad for him, because he was fueled by this real emotion of trying to keep someone close to you as long as possible. And that's not a bad quality or anything. Then what happened was he ended up dead. And the drug that finally was submitted to the FDA is the one that's much safer. So she encounters him, and at first she thinks that he's a fan of the show, until people say, I don't know who you're talking to. Like, I can't see who you're talking to. And that's when she realizes that she now has her ability back. As she is progressing on in the story, more and more dead people come forward to have her help them, communicate with their loved ones, to send them a message so they can move on. And it's very much a story of not just like what one person did to not just one, not just two, but three people. 3 people died at the hands of one person. So before she discovers that this individual has killed up to 3 people, which means he or she is a serial killer. she encounters a man called Jeremy, and Jeremy is part of the team that developed the drug, helped to develop the drug that is now going up for FDA review. He ends up dead, and then a woman ends up dead, and we find out that it is a woman who actually killed these three. The first victim was an accident. The other two were intentional. Her name is Claire, and she is 9 months pregnant with her first child. And she goes and she basically is like, you know, I'm gonna kill you. And then, unfortunately for her, there's only one thing that keeps her from actually killing our main character, and that is she goes into active labor. So she has to untie our medium, and our dear medium actually drives her to the hospital so she can give birth. And this is the first killer that I've encountered in reading scores and scores of mysteries where she actually says, "I am a monster for what I did." And I liked the ending of it. I thought the ending was really well done. And so yeah, everything turns out well at the end. So I enjoyed premeditated murder. I thought it was really good. I'm definitely going to pick up the second book, but that's going to be probably like in 2 weeks, maybe next month I'll pick it up, because I do have other books that I definitely want to read. I am going to be reading, let me rephrase that. I am reading Tears of the Wolf. There is a YouTuber who is basically she's an expert in, in history and stuff. So she wrote this book, and she also has another book that came out last year. I'm going to get that book probably sometime this year or something. But I did pick up 2 books today, because I will say this, I really like getting books on my Nook, especially if I've seen them before. So I was over at Myers, and they had 2 books by Vincent Ralph. This is Night Terror, a Bleak Haven novel, and Dead Fake, a Bleak Haven novel. So Dead Fake is actually the first book in the series, and it is about this AI program that's created, and people can actually see how they're going to die. And what ends up happening is somebody is actually doing that. In Night Terror, who would rob a bookstore? That is what our main character is wondering. They're looking for a certain book, and it's not something that you should be reading. He has 2 more books coming out later on this year. I'm going to be reading both books before those books come out, and then when those books come out, I'll just transfer both books over to my archive so that I can make room. But anyways, those are the only 2 books that I got today. Anyways, that is my video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I am going to be reading more of Tears of the Wolf tonight. I'm hoping this time around I get more than 3 hours of sleep, because I really am not a happy person if I only have 3 hours of sleep. So, anyways, that is my video, and I'll see you guys next time.